What's going on, YouTube? Today we are going to be finishing up the wire harnesses from the handlebars to the main harness. Currently my bike is in the corner because we got cabinets being painted. This was a pain in the ass. I do not recommend this to a friend. But while the paint's drying, we got time to finish the bike. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so I already got the left side done. I'm using these Deutsch connectors. They are used in a lot of high-end racing applications. The plugs themselves are submersible up to 3 feet for 30 minutes without destroying what's on the inside. You got a weatherproof right here, little gasket there, and then again on the back side, there's another little gasket. Same thing down here, you got, this is the female plug for this 4-pin. You got a gasket here, so it's not going anywhere. I took you out of my tripod for a second. I have my handlebar wire, the control wires going through the riser. This one, the left side, it will fit through there. Obviously with the plugs on it, it's not going to make it through. So I have to pull the top cap off and then I'll be able to get it in there. But that's the route I'm going with. I think it's going to look relatively clean once it's all done. Alright, so as you can see, all my wires are blue. Would not recommend that to a friend either. It makes for an awful time trying to find things. This is the female Deutsch connector. This one's a 6-pin. I have 5 wires. Only makes sense. Now, in order to keep this waterproof, they do sell a plug for the pin that you don't use. So the female portion of the connectors use the pin instead of the female version. I know it's backwards, I don't understand it either. Basically, these just go in together once they're inside the plug, and that's what makes your connection. You're also going to need a pair of these. These are just a different style of crimper. They are designed to crimp both portions of this connector. And you're going to need a pair of wire strippers. So basically it's very simple. You just take your wire, you strip off about a 1/4 inch or so. That's a little longer, but it's alright. Twist it together. Put it inside your connector. And you just find the gauge wire that you're using. And then you crimp down until it doesn't crimp anymore. And it will get stuck in the pliers. It has on every single one I've done so far. Then you just crimp the other side around the coating of the wire. And there you go. Now it's connected. Once you do that, on the back side, you're not going to be able to see this, but there are little numbers on, each different hole. So you just line wire 1 with wire 1. And you push it, and you give it a little tug, and that's it. Alright, once you get all your wires in there, you can then grab one of these little, I don't know if you can see down in there, yeah. Basically, this is what holds the harness together. You just drop it in, and it's a pain to get it all the way down in there. Once you got it in, you basically just push it down, and it locks all the pins in place. Also helps you grab a screwdriver, flathead Phillips. Then you'll hear it click, and Actually, one of my pins came out, so now I have to fish it out. Alright, so you just put a new plug on your bike. Well, so did I. And now you have options to conceal all these wires. I'm going with this weave harness, loom, whatever you want to call it. It's split down the middle and it wraps on itself, because I've tried using the non-split version of this and it is just not a good time. You also have this kind of loom. It's basically just a piece of rubber hose that's super thin and it goes around your wire. I think it looks kind of tacky, so I'm even gonna take it off that and put something like this on. I'm pretty sure. I don't have one small enough for 2 wires currently, so it's gonna stay there for now. That's basically all it is this little mesh that curls in on itself and conceals all your wires. I think it looks pretty good, so that's what I'm going to use. So all you're going to do basically to start is grab your wires and you wrap it around. Once you get to a certain point, you can even slide it up. I'm going to pull my control apart, and there's a little clamp in there that's going to hold it down. Or you can use heat shrink if you don't have a plug on the end, or electrical tape, which is what I'm going to use on the opposite side. You won't see it once the bike's together, so I'm not too concerned about how it's going to look. And there's no easier way to do this. This stuff, it's good because it binds on itself to keep everything inside of it. The only downfall is you have to go through this process every time you use it. Then once you get down to the end, I'm going to leave a couple inches, like an inch or so of wire exposed. Take your cutters, cut it. You can also use a hot knife or something like that. A pair of scissors. Cuts them fairly easily. Again, you won't see this, the end pieces, once the bike is fully together. Everything will be concealed underneath the tank. The one thing you do have to pay attention to is to make sure your harness isn't going to get bound up while your handlebars are turning. Now we have a nice looking harness going right through the handlebars down to the plug. Now it's time to take the plugs off and this connector harness down to the ECU of the bike. We're going to wrap that one next. So now I got that harness wrapped up, so now running along the frame rail looks nice and clean. All the way down to this 12 pin, so I can disconnect this center section or either handlebar control. I don't know if I really want to put wire loom around that one. I might as well, since I'm already doing it, and should clean it up down there. So I got it all. I re-wrapped this one. I didn't like the thicker wrap. I still have to clean up and shorten these grounds. Then I wrapped this one down here just to keep everything nice and tidy in here, because once everything goes in there, there's not that much room. I still have to wire in all of my accessories, but as for now, handlebar controls are done. Alright, well that's where I'm going to wrap this video up. Stay tuned next time, because next time we are going to hook up the fuel system and run some gas through this thing, and let's hear it run. Alright, peace.